What up, everybody? This is Brett, the Icebear, Harrington, coming to you with episode number 5 of the Icebear in the Ice Cave. So, last week my episode was a major success where I was talking all about the NFL and the Eagles and all that. But I have noticed one thing: a lot of my viewership comes out of the Syracuse area, and I wanna do something a little bit for that. I'm going to talk about the Syracuse football today and Syracuse basketball, and then also I'm going to talk about the NFL Combine and ways I think that it should be improved. And then, of course, I'm going to talk about NFL free agency and mainly the New England Patriots and where I think they can go from there. But first, let's talk about some other things. Follow me on my Twitter at Brett. Follow me on Instagram at Brett Harrington 71. I believe is what it is. It's Brett Harrington 71 is my Instagram, and follow me at Twitter, which is Brett H797. Twitter is Brett H797, and Instagram is Brett Harrington 71. And of course, go check out the links on there. Go check out my merch store. Buy yourself an Icebear in the Ice Cave shirt. One in red. There's one in red and one in black. Both white lettering, but go check those out. So let's start off talking about Syracuse basketball and where I think I can see them making it into the playoff. How far I think they can make it in March Madness. I think they can make it potentially out of the round of 32. I see them making it to out of the round against San Diego State, and then of course I see them potentially beating whoever they have to play next. But I don't see them making out of the Sweet 16 due to the fact that they don't have a real big man. They need a big man. And I don't claim to know much about basketball, but I do watch Syracuse basketball quite a bit. And the fact that where I work, we cover it. And that's where I think they could go and improve, along with the fact that we also, I don't think they're using all their players right. Like Joe Girard, he's a volume shooter. He needs to shoot. I don't think they're not clearly not using him right. He's not shooting as much as he should be. And I do think that will be an issue for them, but I do believe that they're on the right track, and I'd say maybe within a year, maybe next year when Buddy's, I believe, a senior and Joe's a junior, I see them really making a far run at the playoff in the March Madness tournament because they have shown they can win games like they have this year. Also, now let's move on to Syracuse football. Syracuse football is a little bit more tricky, a little bit more I'd say harder to build because they are in a tough conference. They do play in the ACC, which is one of the Power 5 conferences. I'd say it's probably the third tier behind the SEC and the Big Ten. I'd put the ACC above the Big 12 and the Pac-12. But one thing I definitely do think they need to build their offensive line, build depth, build strength, make their offensive line their strength because that is a problem they are having because they get sacked a lot. They're having a hard time moving the ball in general. And when you're having a hard time moving the ball, that is usually a correlation to you have an offensive line problem. And that's where I think I could see them really make strides. If they could bring in some offensive line recruits, help Tommy DeVito out. And I don't even know if Tommy DeVito is the answer at quarterback. They could bring in a young upstart quarterback who could kill it and be the starter for them going in the future. But I do think they got pieces in play on the defensive side and a little bit on the offensive side for them to be successful. And let's move on to the NFL Combine. Obviously, with the draft coming up, normally they'd have their NFL Combines, but they don't this year. So I think that they should take this year and try to improve the Combine. I think there's a lot of drills that are run that make no real sense for the NFL for NFL players at certain positions to be running. Like, I was talking to the trainer at my gym, James, and he was telling me, we were talking about it, like, offensive linemen should not have to run a 40-yard dash. That makes no sense for them to run. I don't care how fast an offensive lineman can run straight. I want to know how well they can do a kickback or them doing the 3-cone drill. I think that and a kickback drill is what would help evaluate them a lot And, of course, they should do the bench press, but I also think they should rechange the bench press for offensive linemen to not how many reps you can do at 225 is how much can you just bench? Because a lot of times they're going up against guys who weigh 300 pounds at least. So I think that would be one aspect I would change for offensive linemen. And in their kickback, let's see how fast they can get back. Can they get back in 3 seconds? Because most DNs can run a sub 440 or close to a 440, if not a little bit faster. Like Myles Garrett, like they got to stop people like him. So let's see how fast they can kick back. Along with, let's see where they could. Let's move them around, have them play other sides of the ball. Not other sides of the ball, but other sides of the line. Just see mix and match. Show versatility in the offensive lineman. A lot of drills I think like wide receivers, corners, and safeties. Some drills I don't think they need to run. I don't think they need to bench press. I don't really care how much they can bench or rep out 225. I want to know how fast they can run, how quick they can turn their hips, and get downfield into 40, how fast they could do their 3-second split, and the L drill. I think those are a lot of good drills for them to show, and I think they should do more 7-on-7s. I think for running backs and linebackers, I don't think linebacker, running back necessarily should do the L drill, but they would benefit from doing the 3-cone drill, the hip turn drill as their running back, and also the 40-yard dash and the bench. Because to me, a running back and middle linebacker, yes, they're very similar in the same aspects, but they're also not. A linebacker is like the quarterback of the defense. He's also got to be smart. And speaking of smart, let's talk about the quarterback. The quarterback is supposed to be technically the smartest player on the field. So I feel as though you should take away their ability. They don't really need to show their athleticism. They need to show their quickness and their poise in the pocket. So maybe come up with a mental test or something for them to do. Have them draw on chalkboard of plays. If someone's blitzing here, where are you going to go with the ball? And give them 3 seconds to answer like they would in a game, 3 to 5 seconds like they would in a game. Really put high pressure on them answering these questions. So you don't come out and be like, oh, wow, this kid can do it. Actually figure out if these kids can play and figure out where they could go. And these are just some of the things I think the NFL could do to make the combine a little bit better for all the athletes and coaches in evaluating. I still think they should have those one-on-one meetings. Their height, their weight, they should still all do that. They should all be a factor. Guys should still have to show up in shape for these drills. I just think eliminating some of these drills would help. And then also, I believe they should also in the pro days. They should be preaching this stuff in the pro days and showing that. And another thing that I think the NFL should do is not penalize kids from not playing in the bowl game, because it makes a lot of sense for them not to play in the bowl game if they're a high level pick. But there should be a cutoff. If you're not going to be, say, a guaranteed first round pick, you should play in your bowl game kind of thing. Because there's so many guys who sit out right now not playing in bowl games where they could be, along with the fact that they just don't. And I think that hurts the game of football, the college football aspect a lot with ratings and all that. But let's move on. For the main event, what I've been wanting to talk about, the New England Patriots offseason. They've made a splash this offseason. I'm talking, basically, they've taken every big name off the board, except for their own offensive lineman. They let him walk. Which, hey, Joe Thuney, however you pronounce his last name, good for him going out and getting paid. I understand it. He went to Kansas City. He's potentially going to be on a Super Bowl winning team. But I don't like the fact that the Chiefs did let Eric Fisher and Schwartz go. I think that's going to hurt their team in the long run, but having Thuney there will definitely help fix the holes. But we're not talking about the Chiefs, let's talk about the Pats. They added not one, but 2 tight ends to their roster in Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith from the Titans. This will allow them to bring back what Bill used to love running with Aaron Hernandez and Rob Gronkowski, the double tight end move, and I think that will help them tremendously moving forward. And, of course, bringing in the pass rusher out of Baltimore, That will help as well. And with the rumors swirling around about Stephon Gilmore getting potentially traded, I think bringing in someone like Jordan Mills from the Eagles helps out a lot. I think re-signing Cam, I think that was a good move, but I'll talk about that in a few minutes. In a minute or two, I want to talk about some of the two more free agents that we've signed so far, and those are the wide receivers. So I don't personally know the one from San Francisco. I don't know much about him, but I do know a lot about Nelson Aguilar, and he did have a drop problem when he was in the Eagles, but it seemed to be fixed now that he's on the Raiders, and I think it's going to help us. It's going to help in the development of N'Keal Harry, who has, in my own opinion, he hasn't lived up to his potential, but it also helps take pressure off, like Julian Edelman, guys coming off another knee injury. Having him, and having Nelson Aguilar, that allows you to put Julian Edelman back where he's best, is in the slot, along with Gianno Smith and Hunter Henry. That's going to help boost this team quite a bit. Now, like I said, I'm going to talk about Cam Newton. What I think Cam Newton brings leadership and a superstar mentality of, we can do this. I think he can lead the team for maybe 1, 2, potentially 3 more years, but that's about it. I don't really see him boosting him up much farther than that. I think this would be a good year for us to draft a quarterback. I'm not saying that we have to go out and get Mac Jones. I'm not. If Mac Jones is there when we pick, great. If he's not, he's not. I think what we should do is try to draft an offensive lineman. Usually, right where we're picking, I believe it's 15. There's usually a good guard, and that's what we need, is a guard to replace Thuney and help start replacing some of these older offensive linemen that we're starting to get. Like Trent Brown, he's great and everything, but he's going to replace Wynn. Wynn might move back to right tackle and then move Marquise Cannon back into left and then have Shaq Mason next. But we still need to re-sign our center. We haven't re-signed Dan Andrews yet. And that's a major hole right now that we have. And the fact that we can't go get Corey Lindsey anymore because he signed with the Chargers, which is a good move for them because they just lost their center in Mike Pouncey. And I think that would be a good move for them, along with the fact that they now have to rebuild off the loss of Hunter Henry. Maybe they trade up Chargers to go get Kyle Pitts out of Florida. This, like I said last week or a week before, this kid's a game changer, game breaker. He breaks the game. He breaks the laws of physics. Not physics, but laws of football physics, I guess. And that's how he plays. And to me, that's where he benefits from. And where I think the Pats should do, the quarterback I think the Pats should target is Kyle Trask out of Florida. I remember watching him earlier in the year play. He was playing lights out. He was playing great football, and I really liked seeing that. I really liked seeing him play. I think he would help. He would fit New England's offense that we're trying to go to the double tight end, run the ball. But I think we could even wait to the second round to get him. So in the first round, I think we should get ETN out of Clemson or N'Keal Harris out of Alabama. I think having those, that would help set up the run game and allow us potentially move on from a James White and maybe even a Sony Michel. But I like Sony Michel, and I think he potentially, with the double tight end system we're going to be running, could have a breakout year. And this is where I think the New England Patriots should go. Thank you for watching. This has been the Icebear in the Ice Cave. Like, subscribe, all that, comment, do all that stuff down below. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you next week.